Welcome to Inside the Program, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. I'm Joe Cook. That's Eric Naleen. We are just about a day away from Texas taking on UTEP. It's one of those games where we're going to be focusing a lot on what the Longhorns do and not what the Miners do. That was a big theme throughout this week of practice. So we'll get into that. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you have not done so yet, head to InsideTexas.com. Join for just $1. The best Texas Longhorns insight, intel, recruiting coverage, analysis, the best Texas Longhorns community. And of course, if you sign up with that first link in the description, you'll get a full year of access to the Athletic as well. So come join Inside Texas. Great time to do it as we're rolling through non-conference play. And Eric, like I mentioned, it's kind of one of those weeks where you work on yourself. And there was a day earlier this week where Texas looked really good, trying to work out some of the kinks maybe from the first couple weeks of the season.
Yeah, they had Bloody Tuesday every week. That's their most game-like practice, their most strenuous, their hardest day, full pads, some contact. It was the best Bloody Tuesday they've had in a long time. You'd have to go back to last year to when they had a better practice. And what made it so good is people were assignment sound. This sort of practice tends to test them and strain them like game scenarios. You tend to have more mental errors on this day. This was much cleaner than they had been in the past. I think it's feel like they're getting a little bit of confidence going. You know, they've played okay in the first two games. Obviously, defense has been good, a little bit hit or miss on offense. Feels like they're gaining a little bit more confidence as we get deeper into the season.
One of the things, I think Bloody Tuesday, a lot of programs do that. They try to have that be in the middle of the week and where they really emphasize physicality. Why do you think maybe that this is one of those Tuesdays where things came together, and what might that say about what's going to happen this weekend, what we hope to see this weekend against UTEP?
Well, I think they've seen a lot of stuff that they can correct, and there's just very focused on getting better. This team, I know that a lot of fans are down on the offense right now, and they can't really see the light at the end of the tunnel of maybe this even being some question whether or not this is even a playoff team. I've seen some people thinking they might have 3 losses. I think there's just a sense of urgency that, hey, there's a lot of things they can be doing better, mostly on offense, but obviously some things on defense. They had, film review on Monday. Sark gets into them pretty dang good. Sark gets into him a lot more than you would expect from his press conferences, right? He's like nice, he's affable. He might crack a joke here and there. He gets a little bit more football coach on Monday. I think he lit a fire, and they still see the goals as what they were coming into the season. They don't just want to make the playoffs. They don't even want to make the Final Four again. And so I think that's just giving them a little urgency, and it led to a good Tuesday.
You've got a lot of notes over on Inside Texas that you posted, covers a wide range of positions. We'll go over some of the offensive ones in a minute, but on defense, there was one that really stood out to me. It's why I moved it up right behind the Tuesday practice talk, and it's about Lance Jackson's ceiling. And I think Inside Texas, whether it be geographic bias and then just putting on the film, has always been big on Lance Jackson. I think On3 and Rivals ranked him as a top 5 prospect in the 2025 class, and maybe that was underselling him.
Yeah, this might be a little hyperbolic, but the source said, he might be the best edge they have, at least from a talent standpoint. Not necessarily that he's going to play the best this season. He is a true freshman, and I think that might be a little recency bias with Colin, not playing great, but also not playing too bad. But yeah, they said that the ceiling might be the highest out of all the edges, possible top 3 overall pick. And a lot of it is, he's got the size and the athleticism that you just can't teach, but he also just absolutely works his tail off. He's a total grinder. So you got the gym rat attitude with all the physical gifts, and we've seen him out there. He's giant. You see him out there running around. He's huge and he moves very well. Of course, that's not surprising. His brother tested out of this world at the NFL Combine. He's probably going to do the same thing. Yeah, everybody's extremely excited about him. I was happy to hear that. It's confirmation bias for us because we've been so high on him for a long time. But it's good to see him, and we're going to get to see him play throughout this whole season. It's not just going to be in these non-con games. So he's going to be a mainstay.
I think the fact that he was able to play and get real snaps against Ohio State speaks a lot to how they think of him. And, I think we've also seen some of the ability for him to play a little bit of Jack, a little bit of Buck to be, just something special.
Yeah, absolutely. Out there in Seattle, you got Boeing nearby. You got SeaTac Airport not too far. I'll be there in a couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll be out there when Ohio State rolls to town. So hopefully UW can get the dub. Yeah, but they love to rotate the edges, and that really benefits a guy that's young and ready to play. He's gonna, he doesn't have to quite wait his turn as you'll see at some other positions, especially like offensive line. He's getting really, really good, valuable experience right now. But again, no matter what we see right now, there's bigger and better things to come down the road. He's going to be an absolute stud.
Before we keep going, got to show some love to our sponsor, and that is Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Touchdown! Any gate can be a tailgate.
Going over to offense, some of the notes that you posted over on Inside Texas deals with the running backs and some of their skill sets, their best traits. We'll start there. You did mention we may not see Trey Wisner this upcoming weekend, but at the same time, that means we'll see a little bit more CJ Baxter. And you said that he brings maybe some of the best football IQ to the table as far as the running back position goes. What about some of the other guys in that room and maybe someone we may see for the first time this weekend?
Yeah, we were just talking about running back in general. Source said that all four of the guys that were brought up bring something different to the table. He says Trey is the best overall. Don't expect to see Trey this week. CJ is the best when it comes to understanding the run schemes, football IQ, as you mentioned. Christian Clark is viewed as the most talented, and Jarrett Gibson is viewed as the most physical. And they he had that fumble, and they say he fumbled last year, so it's a little concerning. But it sounds like Jarrett's going to get the carries to try to work through ththese issues. They like what he saw. They like what they saw. Obviously, we did not see Christian Clark really get out in space or make anything big happen. But he was getting his first carries. And then interestingly, with Trey out, and I think they're looking for any way to rejuvenate that room or give it a jolt. We could see James Simon, true freshman, getting his first carries this week. I don't believe he was on scout team. I think he's with the big team right now, and a good chance he's going to play. They like his inside-outside ability.
As far as wide receiver goes, a lot of questions just about what's going on with Ryan Wingo, and Sark kind of identified it. I think we wrote about it this week. Pressing is kind of the term that's been used.
Yeah, just nobody's really worried about Wingo. They saw what he was in August. They felt. Remember, we were really talking him up towards the end of August, so we were thinking he was going to come out of the gates hot. That hasn't happened, but they feel he's in a good place. It's gonna round into form now. He's still learning some nuances. If you saw the deep dive earlier in this week with Paul and Ian, you could see some of his missteps. But nobody's worried about Ryan Wingo long term. This week, I failed to mention this in the article. I don't think we're going to see DeAndre Moore, and that would open the door for Dalen McCutcheon. So I'm looking forward to Dalen. But they just got to get Wingo rolling, and everything's gonna work itself out.
It's kind of one of those with the offensive line. It seems like the Sesame Street word of the day is cohesion. That's what we're looking for. Yeah. Everybody, yay! All the fireworks will go off once it's said. But that seems to be the thing that we're looking for over and over and over with the offensive line as UTEP approaches.
Yeah, they just need more reps. It's reps. They don't feel like it's a talent issue. To me, that's good news. You can't fix talent in season. Now, I'm not 100% certain that I agree with that when I hear that it's not a talent issue. I'm looking at a few places here and there, or guys not living up to their talent. But cohesion is viewed as the number one project, and that's what they're working on. More reps. That's why you really like these next two games. We need to see some improvement. And I think we heard they had a good practice on Tuesday. I think that they're going to be trending in the right direction coming out of this game. But they better get some displacement against UTEP. And they need to play some clean football and create some running lanes.
One of the other things that, with an opponent like UTEP, you kind of get to ask some different questions. And you asked one of your sources about who the toughest guys on the team are. And this is always interesting because toughness can mean so many different things. But a little bit of a variety of positions seen in some of the answers.
Yeah, and we'll say Arch wasn't named in the top 5, but he's named on the next cusp. We've had people rate Arch. He was one time I asked this question. He was the second person mentioned after Trey Wisner. The 5 here are Neto Umeozulu, Cole Brevard, Travis Shaw, Trey Wisner, and Ty Anthony Smith. I feel like I mentioned Ty Anthony Smith 5 times in that article. We've got to mention him at least once here. One thing they like about Ty Anthony, outside of the toughness and work ethic, he's got that East Texas work ethic that Lance Jackson has as well, is they don't really feel the need to go into dime when they have him out on the field because he's so athletic. So a lot of times they would replace the linebacker with another defensive back. They don't necessarily feel that they have to do that with Ty Anthony out there. And then he's got the toughness. Really, the guy's got the total package. He just needs more playing time, and maybe 5-10 more pounds, whatever. That'll come. Neto, say what you want. He's got some issues with Simon soundness. We know that. It's a bit unfortunate, but he's a mauler when he gets his hands on you. He's a tough guy. Cole Brevard, he's got a lot of drive. He's very hard to move. We've seen two offensive lines struggle to get him out of position in the last couple of weeks, and that's going to be a mainstay, and that'll be a theme of the entire season. Travis Shaw, I was happy to hear that. He kind of came. His career had been a little up and down, maybe viewed as a bust earlier in his career, being a 5-star, but he's got the motor and the effort, and they like his toughness as well. And then Trey Wisner, I think it's we all know Trey's toughness. We've seen it since the second he got on campus. Now we don't expect him to play this week. He's still nursing that leg injury. I don't think that leg injury is a big deal. If they're on their way to Florida right now, I'd expect them to play.
I think one of the as a lead Travis Shaw truther, it's always good to hear that he's doing some good stuff. And Cole Brevard, we saw him be unmovable. But Ty Anthony Smith, the NASCAR or the dime package thing, I noticed that because that's the position that Jahdae Barron would play last year during dime. And for them to trust him to be in that spot, to play that position in that specialty package speaks a lot to his development. There are so many more notes on this week's game, on this week of practice and prep for UTEP over on Inside Texas. So go join Inside Texas. It's the first link in our description. Sign up for just $1. Get the best intel, the best insight, recruiting info, and join the best community. And you will get a full year of access to the Athletic thrown in as well. So, Eric, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Inside the Program, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.